Hello, my name is John Sherwa and welcome back to our horse racing newsletter as we've got a lot of content for you to wade through. Before we get to John White's Belmont rankings, let's go to know 8 in our Triple Crown countdown. It was always going to be interesting to see where American Pharoah landed in the rankings. His being from a very different era makes comparing him to the others as very difficult. But the panel has spoken and here's where he landed. Advertisement 8. American Pharoah 201564 votes. This was the horse that ended the 37-year Triple Crown dry spell. And it also makes his performance one of the more difficult to evaluate as the business changed a lot in 4 decades. Gone were the aggressive pre-derby race schedules and approaches to breeding and training also have changed. Panelist Tim Layden put it this way, the most significant aspect of his Triple Crown is that it came at a time when the breeding industry had bred most of the toughness and stamina out of the modern thoroughbred. And he won just the same. Advertisement. The voters struggled, with 1 voting him 10th, 1 had him 9th, 2 had him 8th, 4 had him 7th, 1 put him in 6th and 2 had him as high as 5th. It's also the only horse that all of the panelists got to see live. Tim Wilkins said this about his win in the Belmont: "I never heard Belmont Park as loud as it was when Pharoah flew down that long stretch, but I wasn't there for Secretariat." And Rick Hammerly called it one of the top sporting events I've attended in my life. Trainer Bob Baffert has not been shy about mentioning Justify's name alongside American Pharoah, which is why expectations are high for this year's Belmont. The idea that American Pharoah would never lose was taken off the table in his first race, when he finished 5th. Baffert thought he was too unsettled in the race and took off the blinkers and put cotton in his ears to lessen the noise for his next 2 races. It worked. He went gate to wire to win the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity by 4 3/4 lengths, and then in the Grade 1 Frontrunner Stakes he duplicated that running style and won by 3 1/4 lengths. He suffered a deep bruise to his left front hoof in a workout just before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and did not run any more that year. As the 3-year-old campaign started, Baffert had a problem. He also had a very promising colt in Dortmund and he didn't want them to run against each other. So, he kept Dortmund at Santa Anita and sent American Pharoah to Arkansas. Baffert had a similar problem this year when he had McKinsey, who he was going to keep home, and Justify, who was supposed to ship to Arkansas. But McKinsey was injured and Baffert kept Justify at Santa Anita. Advertisement. Pharoah made his debut in the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes at Oaklawn, winning by 6 1/4 lengths, and then he won the Arkansas Derby by a powerful 8 lengths. At the Kentucky Derby, jockey Victor Espinoza, who had taken over from Martin Garcia since his 2nd race, had him positioned 3rd for most of the race. Entering the stretch, Pharoah was moved to outside and commenced a strong but difficult run. He got past firing line and Dortmund to win by a length. You can watch the Derby here. Baffert has said Pharoah did not have his A game in that race but still won. He said the same thing about Justify in the Preakness. American Pharoah's win in the Preakness will be remembered for the apocalyptic rainstorm that descended on the track just before post-time, turning the surface to slop. Espinoza, breaking from the rail, immediately took the colt to the lead, steadied him on the back stretch after blistering fractions, and when he asked for a run, Pharoah gave it to him. Pharoah brought his A game and won by 8 lengths. You can watch the Preakness here. Onto the Belmont, where recent tries by California Chrome and I'll Have Another were ended both on and off the track. Pharoah broke a step slow, but Espinosa took him to the lead, running sensible fractions for the 1.5-mile race. Frosted was close to Pharoah entering the stretch but was in a full-out drive. Pharoah hadn't hit his top gear yet, but when Espinosa urged him he drew off to a 5.5-length win. You can watch the Belmont here. More than $90,002 win tickets on the horse went uncashed and remained a memento to those in attendance. American Pharoah went on to win the Haskell Stakes at Monmouth, but then suffered a 3/4 length defeat in the Travers Stakes at Saratoga, known as the Graveyard of Champions. He had one more race to go, and that was Breeders' Cup Classic, where he was facing mostly older horses. He won by an easy 6.5 lengths, stamping his position as one of the all-time greats. His stallion career is just starting, and we should start to see some of his progeny this year. He stands at Coolmore's Ashford Stud in Kentucky. His fee is $200,000. The Times Triple Crown panel is composed of horse racing experts, journalists and racing secretaries. Its members are Rick Hammerly, racing secretary at Santa Anita; Steve Haskin, racing author and columnist The Blood Horse; David Jerkins, racing secretary at Del Mar; Tim Layton, turf writer at Sports Illustrated; Tom Padula, lead writer for America's Best Racing; Jay Privman, national correspondent for the Daily Racing Form. Vote totals were 14 points for first place, 12 for second, 10 for third, and then 1 point less in descending order. 9 Gallant Fox, read about him here, advertisement 10. Assault, read about him here, 11. Omaha, read about him here, advertisement 12. Sir Barton, read about him here. John White's Belmont rankings. In case you forgot, John is an historian of the sport of horse racing and also does the morning line at Santa Anita. In short, he knows his stuff. So, take it away, John. Justifies splendid workout Tuesday morning at Churchill Downs suggests he still has plenty of energy and enthusiasm following his half-length victory in the May 19th Preakness Stakes. With jockey Martin Garcia aboard for the drill, Super J effortlessly worked 4 furlongs in 46.80 seconds, a brisk morning exercise that delighted his trainer, Bob Baffert. Baffert said, "I'm really happy. It's what you want to see." American Pharoah looked like that. 10 days after American Pharoah won the Preakness, he worked 4 furlongs in 48 seconds flat at Churchill Downs for Baffert. Justifies 46 4/5 workout Tuesday likewise came 10 days after the Preakness. American Pharoah in 2015 swept the Kentucky Derby, Preakness and Belmont to end a 37-year Triple Crown drought. Between the Preakness and Belmont, American Pharoah had 2 workouts. In American Pharoah's final workout before the Belmont, he stepped 5 furlongs in 1 o'clock 1/5 at Churchill on June 1. 5 days later, American Pharoah won the Belmont by 5.5 lengths. Secretariat won the Belmont in 1973 to end a 25-year Triple Crown drought. Secretariat, like American Pharoah, had 2 workouts between the Preakness and Belmont. The plan is for Justify to have the same number of workouts between the Preakness and Belmont. 8 days after Secretariat won the Preakness, he worked 6 furlongs in 1:12 1/5 at Belmont Park. Just 5 days after that, on June 1, Secretariat had a sizzling 1-mile workout at Belmont. It was such a fast workout that many wondered if perhaps it was too fast. Secretariat worked 1 mile in 1:34 4/5. The track record at that time for 1 mile on Belmont Park's main track was 1:34 2/5. On June 9, Secretariat won the Belmont by 31 lengths in what many consider to be the greatest performance in the history of American racing. His final time of 2:24 flat obliterated the 1.5-mile track record that had been set by Gallant Man in 1957. Secretariat broke Gallant Man's record by an astonishing 2 3/5 seconds. As for the upcoming Belmont, after last week's Belmont Stakes rankings, it was announced that Audible would not be running. Audible, winner of the Florida Derby and third in the Kentucky Derby for trainer Todd Pletcher, had the credentials to be one of the more serious threats to prevent Justify from becoming the 13th Triple Crown winner. There had been speculation that Audible might not run in the Belmont due to his overlapping ownership with Justify. However, according to Pletcher, Audible was taken out of consideration for the Belmont because he had not trained satisfactorily since the Kentucky Derby. It turns out that Audible not only will be absent from the Belmont, he has been taken out of training for the time being and will be getting a complete physical at a clinic in Kentucky, according to Daily Racing Form's David Grunning. Here are this week's Belmont Stakes rankings. 1. Justify 1, 2. Hofburg 3, 3. Vino Rosso 7, 4. Bravazzo 5, 5. Tenfold 6, 6. Blended Citizen, NR 7. Noble Indy, NR 8. Free Drop Billy 8, 9. Restoring Hope 9, 1, 0. Gronkowski 10. Note the last week's ranking in parentheses Santa Anita preview. It's a solid Friday card of 8 races starting at 12:30 p.m. But the numbers that are most interesting are the new set of purse figures after Santa Anita announced last week that it was increasing those numbers because of an all sources handle that was up $70 million over last year. Now, it's not like the people who wager are suddenly betting much more money, although that is one of many factors. The beneficial change of when takeout has to be reported has helped. The bad weather in the East has helped. The lack of cancellations has really helped. In the end, Santa Anita has run 18 more races, and that's the biggest factor. But that's okay, you take prosperity whenever you can get it, just like you have to accept unforeseen problems when they arise. So, when you look at Friday's card, you see purses of $69,000, $63,000, $61,000 instead of numbers in the $50,000. It's a very good thing. Now, there are 4 allowance, optional claimers, which is real good for a Friday card and spectacular for the first card of the week. There are 3 turf races, the 2nd, 5th and 8th, none on the downhill course. The early races could have bigger fields, but we are getting to the end of a very long meet. Here are the field sizes, in order: 6, 6, 6, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9, 5 also eligibles. Bob Ike saw play of the day. 7th race, no. 9 Twisted Rosie, 4-1, sophomore filly from the Jeff Bond stable drops out a stronger Calbred allowance race where she faded when facing older. She is lowered to her lowest level, gets back with 3-year-olds, reunites with Kent Desermo and should get an ideal stalking trip from her outside post. Monday's result, compelled, 7-1, finished 3rd in the Monrovia Stakes. Bob Ike is a partner, VP of Horsebills.com. Here's a video, and the proprietor of BobIkePicks.com, full card picks, 3 best plays and betting strategy. Golden Gate Weekend Preview. Now a look at the best racing coming up at Golden Gate. Race caller and all-around good guy Matt Dinerman is our host of previews and other musings. So, take it away, Matt. Live racing continues this week with 3 more racing days after our all-turf card Thursday. We've got 7 races on the program Friday, 9 on Saturday, and 9 more on Sunday. A fun allowance race on the turf goes as the nightcap Friday. 9 3-year-old fillies go 1 mile on the turf, with the one to beat being Campanile Stakes second-place finisher Lavadia, who was beat by Pulpit Rider in that race. Pulpit Rider is a main contender on Sunday in the $200,000 Melaire Stakes at Santa Anita. Also entered in the Golden Gate Friday feature is Getting Sideways, who ran third in the Campanile Allowance Victor's Crown Kitten and Tinnabood, and recent starter allowance winner Madame Sophia, who is a half-sister to graded stakes performer Sir Cat Sally. Saturday features 2 allowance fields for older colts and geldings sprinting 6 furlongs, a 4.5 furlong sprint for 2-year-olds and 2 turf events. To end the week, we've got a solid card featuring 2 allowance races, a maiden special weight, and 5 races on the lawn. Featured in the maiden special weight is Acclaim the Queen, a half-sibling to multiple Calbred Stakes winner Hekia from the Baffert Barn. With 6 racing days to go, jockey Abel Chedillo has 87 wins and sits atop the jockey standings, with Irving Orozco in second with 80 wins. In the trainer standings, Jonathan Wong has a 3-win lead over Jerry Hollendorfer. Advertisement Los Alamitos Weekend Preview. This weekly segment is in the hands of Orlando Gutierrez, marketing and media maven at Los Al. So, the floor is yours, Orlando. With most of the big equine names at Los Alamitos Racecourse preparing for major Grade 1 stakes trials later this month, there are no major races on the docket this weekend. Friday's card features the return of the intriguing 4-year-old gelding Heist Leader, who won his career debut by a head when racing 300 yards in a fast time of 15.69 seconds on April 21. Trained by Valentin Zamudio for Aaron Parra, Heist Leader will take on allowance runners in the featured $11,025 8th race, while stretching out for this slightly longer race at 330 yards. He'll be taking on a group that includes the experienced Billionaire Boy, who has raced 9 times in his career while qualifying to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos $2 million Futurity in 2016. Billionaire Boy will be making his 2018 debut. His last start was a second-place finish in a trial to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Super Derby last October. The 8-race card will also feature a modest Pick 6 carryover of $6,194. As for the upcoming racing, a full night of trials to the Grade 1 at Burke Million Futurity will be on Sunday, June 10, while top older horses will race in the trials to the Grade 1 Vessels Maturity on Sunday, June 17. Grade 1 stakes winners such as B.H. Lisa's Boy, Zoom In for Spuds, and Lotta Bluesman are expected to take part in the Vessels trials. There was also a big name on the workout tab on Wednesday morning, as the superstar filly J Fire Up posted her first move since her track record-setting championship campaign of 2017. The Kitty Up filly drilled 220 yards in 12.30 seconds on Wednesday, her first official appearance since winning the Grade 1 Los Alamitos $2 million Futurity on deck. 17. That victory made her the highest money-earning filly in a single season with $1,430,411 at Los Alamitos. J Fire Up is beginning her preparations to race in trials to the Governor's Cup Derby on Sunday, July 15. Ed Burgart's LA play of the day 5th race, no. 4 class stopper, 5-2, trainer Valentin Zamudio has always done well with first-out claims and returns the gelding at the same level from where he claimed him nearly 2 months ago. In his last, he won despite getting bumped from both sides after a sluggish start. He is only one of the field's 2 multiple winners. Final thought: if you would like to subscribe to the newsletter, you can click here and sign up. Remember, it's free, and all we need is your email, nothing more. Any thoughts? Drop me an email at johnusherwa@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter at Jerwa. And now the stars of the show, Friday's entries. Santa Anita entries for Friday, June 1st. Santa Anita Park, Arcadia, California, 28th day of a 42-day meet. First race, 6.5 furlongs. Purse, $47,000. Claiming 3-year-olds. Claiming prices $50,000 to $45,000. P4 jockey trainer Mel Claim $1 El Assassino Stuart Elliott 122 McRue is 6-150,000 2 Sir Valentine Rafael Bejarano 122 David Jacobson 6-150,000 3 Candy Crew Heriberto Figueroa 100 Sadler 12-150,000 6 Greycaster Flavian Pratt 122 Jerry Hollendorfer 6-550,000 second race. 1 mile turf. Purse, $61,000. Allowance optional claiming, 3-year-olds. Claiming price $75,000. P4 jockey trainer Mel Claim $1 Kyle Moore Rafael Bejarano 122 Owen G. Hardy 4-1-2 True Loyal to Kent Desermo 122 James P. DeVito 5-1-3 Magic Musketeer Asa Espinoza 115 Jerry Hollendorfer 5-1-4 La La Land Joseph Talamo 124 Philip D'Amato 8-5-5 Desert Stone Giovanni Franco 122 Richard Baltas 7-2-6 Pepe Tono Flavian Pratt 122 Victor L. Garcia 5-1 third race 6 furlongs. Purse $69,000. Allowance optional claiming, 3-year-olds and up. Claiming price $75,000. P4 jockey trainer Mel Claim $1 Conqueror Kent Desermo 122 Vladimir Sarin 5-1-2 Sunset Dragon Giovanni Franco 125 Terza Rivera 1-2-1-3 Blamate on the Law Joseph Talamo 122 John W. Sadler 4-1, Formo Candy Victor Espinoza 122 John W. Sadler 5-25 K38 Asa Espinoza 115 Karen Headley 8-1, 6 Touching Rainbows Flavian Pratt 125 Philip D'Amato 6-5 4th race, 6 furlongs. Purse, $25,000. Claiming, fillies and mares. 3-year-olds and up. Claiming price $25,000. P4 jockey trainer Mel Claim $1 Utah Nake and Desermo 125 Robert B. Hess Jr. 0.6-125,000 2 Ladies Wardress Brian Pena 125 Bobby Wayne Grayson 20-125,000 3 Bobby Lincoln Joseph Talamo 125 Ronald W. Ellis 7-225,000 4 Royal Astronomer Stuart Elliott 125 John E. Cortez 12-125,000 5 Creative Spark Diago Pereira 120 Daniel Dunham 6-125,000 6 Ib Prospecting Tyler Connor 125 Peter Yurton 3-125,000 7 Get Yourself Home Rafael Bejarano 125 Michael Mohovsky 7-225,000 8 Kenton Road Heriberto Figueroa 118 John W. Sadler 4-125,000 5th race, 1 1/8 mile turf. Purse, $63,000. Allowance optional claiming, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Claiming price $62,500. P4 jockey trainer Mel Claim $1 Demigoddess Modesto Linares 121 Charles R. Stutz 3-0-1-2 India Mantuan Diago Pereira 121 Philip D'Amato 6-1-3 Price Top Perfection Victor Espinoza 123 James M. Cassidy 1-2-1, 4 M. Bosla Kent Desermo 121 James M. Cassidy 4-1, 5 Venus Beer Rafael Bayarano 116 Bob Baffert 6-1, 6 Vasilika Flavian Pratt 121 Jerry Hollendorfer 5-2-7 Fuerza Mario Gutierrez 123 Richard Baltas 1-2-1, 8 The Tulip Drayton Van Dyke 123 Patrick Gallagher 9-5, 6th race, 7 furlongs. Purse, $59,000. Maiden special weight. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. P4 Jockey Trainer Mel Claim $1 Storming Lady Joseph Talama 120 Simon Callahan 6-1, 2 Kindred Asa Espinoza 118 John A. Sheriffs 8-1, 3 and Luby Flavian Pratt 120 Richard E. Mandela 3-1, 4 Unaffordable U Heriberto Figueroa 113 Richard Baltas 151, 5 Chicotina Mike Smith 120 Peter Urban 7-2, 6 Royal Descendant Tiago Pereira 120 Brian J. Coriner 5-1, 7 My Midnight Affair Breeze Blanc 120 McRue is 151, 8 Hot Autumn Giovanni Franco 120 Ian Krell Jack 5-2, 7th race, 6 furlongs. Purse, $28,000. Claiming, fillies, 3-year-olds. Claiming prices $20,000 to $18,000. P4 Jockey Trainer Mel Claim $1 Miss Vila Mario Gutierrez 122 Doug F. O'Neill 12-120,000 2 Uno Troublemaker Heriberto Figueroa 117 Peter Miller 3-120,000 3 Willows Babe Giovanni Franco 122 Richard Baltas 6-120,000 4 Mama's Kid Franklin Ceballos 120 Sal Gonzalez 20-118,000 5 Baytown Hess Jr. 5-120,000 7 Palace Paint Raza Espinoza 117 Peter Miller 5-220,000 8 SM Stuart Elliott 122 Gary Sherlock 8-118,000 9 Twisted Rosie Eke Desermo 122 Jeff Bond 4-120,000 8th race. 1 mile turf. Purse, $61,000. Allowance optional claiming. Fillies, 3-year-olds. Claiming price $75,000. P4 Jockey Trainer Mel Claim $1 Casino Red Drayton Van Dyke 122 Patrick Gallagher 7-2, 2 Mongolian Window Victor Espinoza 122 John W. Sadler 1-2-1, 3 Hope Wins Giovanni Franco 122 Philip D'Amato 1-2-1, 4 Trust Fund Kitty Martin Pedroza 122 Michael Mahovsky 1-2-1, 5 Street with No Name Flavian Pratt 122 Owen G. Hardy 8-1, 6 My Bluebell Kent Desermo 122 Robert B. Hess Jr. .6-1-7 Pursuing the Dream Stuart Elliott 122 James M. Cassidy 3-1, 8 Medallia Gold Heriberto Figueroa 115 Clifford W. Sice Jr. .6-1 9 Luminos or Rafael Bayarano 122 Doug F. O'Neill 4-1 Also eligible 10 Bunny Yogurt Kent Desermo 122 John W. Sadler 1-5-1-1-1 Lexington Grace Gary Stevens 122 Ian Krull Jack 4-1-1-2 Pacific Strike Mario Gutierrez 122 Peter Yurton 8-1-1-3 Traviesa Rafael Bayarano 122 Doug F. O'Neill 4-1-1-4 Film Actress Brian Pena 124 Margie Cantrell 12-175,000